He's been hungry for 2 days, penniless, and wants to eat a feast. What should he do? This is a movie from 66 years ago, but it deeply reflects the problems we face today. If you don't have money, you can't eat a feast, but if you do have money, you can. It's a very classic old movie, The £1,000,000 Note. The male lead of the movie is a laborer, or more accurately, a laborer who can't get a job. He has been homeless for a day and 2 nights, penniless, and starving. One day, he sees a noble little girl throw a pear on the ground, and he can't resist. He wants to eat the pear, but every time he reaches out, someone passes by, so he has to retract his hand. On the 3rd time he picks it up, someone calls out to him. The man looks up and sees 2 wealthy people standing on a beautiful balcony. They invite him into chat, and the desperate man agrees, not knowing what their purpose is. Once inside, the 2 men start asking the man about his story and why he has fallen so low as to eat trash. The man tries to answer, but his gaze is always drawn to the wealthy people's dining table, where the tempting roast meat is placed. It's only after much difficulty that he finally settles down to tell his story. He was an American who lived by the coast in the United States and loved to sail alone. However, he encountered a storm a month ago and almost had a disaster at sea. Fortunately, a ship heading to England rescued him and allowed him to work on the ship to London. Upon arriving here, he had no family or anyone to hire him, so he had to beg for food. Once inside, the 2 men start asking the man about his story and why he has fallen so low as to eat trash. The man was a little unhappy and was about to leave, but they persuaded him to stay and gave him a letter, telling him to open it at 2 o'clock and then sent him on his way. The man left in a daze, feeling that there was something good in the letter. He was almost starving and stopped at a restaurant where the meat was on display. After looking at it for a while, he finally decided to go in, but as soon as he sat down, the waiter called him and said the table was already taken and he should sit inside. It turned out that the man's poor appearance made the waiter not want him to sit outside. The man obediently sat inside, put the envelope on the table, and ordered. Under the contemptuous gaze of the waiter, the man ordered ham, eggs, and a juicy ribeye steak. The waiter immediately said that this was a bit expensive. The man replied, "I know." He also ordered a large glass of iced beer. The dishes came up soon. This was the first full meal the man had had in 2 days, and he immediately wolfed it down. 30 minutes later, he used the last bit of bread to clean the bowl of any remaining juices and ate it. Then he tidied up and asked the waiter to bring him everything again. The waiter hesitated. He even discussed it with the manager for a while, but the manager still decided to serve him the food, but secretly reduced the number of ingredients. When the man finished his 2nd round, it was almost 2 o'clock. The waiter didn't wait for him to call and came directly. He had a bad look on his face and asked the man to pay immediately. The man hesitated for a while, and the waiter directly put the bill in front of his face. The man had no choice but to tear open the envelope and take out what was inside. To their surprise, it was a banknote worth £1,000,000. All 3 of them were shocked. The man said, "I don't have any change, could you please change it for me?" Waiter took the banknote to show the manager, and the shop quickly determined that the man was a strange millionaire. Waiter quickly came back and whispered to the man, "We can't change this money, but we will give you this meal for free and hope you will help us in the future." The man stood up and left. On the way out, an old man with white hair kept bowing to him. As he left, the waiter did a 90-degree bow, and the manager squatted on the ground. The man quickly returned to the 2 wealthy homes to return the £1,000,000 but was told that they had gone on a trip and would not be back for a month. The man sat on the stairs of their home and discovered that there was another letter in the envelope. The letter read, "We lend you a check for £100,000. Use it as you see fit. Return it to us in 1 month. If you do, you may have any job we have available." So what kind of bet is this? It turns out that these wealthy brothers have nothing better to do than to gamble on whether a penniless man will starve or survive with a check for £1,000,000. They're not even afraid that he'll run away because the check can't be cashed anywhere without being caught. The man holds the check, not sure what to do with it. He looks at himself in the tailor's mirror and sees that he is dirty and disheveled. So he goes into the tailor's shop, curious to see what magic the check might hold. As expected, as soon as he entered the store, the clerk saw his dress and ignored him. The old ones called the middle-aged ones to serve him, and the middle-aged ones called the young ones to serve him. Finally, it was the turn of a young man who couldn't ignore him. He found a particularly unattractive dress for the man, which the man thought was a bit ugly but he didn't mind. He asked if he could have the dress on credit, saying he didn't have any change on him. The clerk sneered and sarcastically said, "A person like you wouldn't have change on him, of course." Man had to take out his check. Clerk looked at it and exclaimed, "Oh my God." Everything then proceeded as it would in a restaurant. Manager came, looked at the check, scolded the junior clerk for not treating the man well, and then changed the man's clothes to an extremely luxurious set, preparing 30 sets of clothes for him to take away, completely free of charge. The man told someone that he had nowhere to stay, and that person immediately introduced him to a luxurious hotel. When the hotel staff heard about this, they quickly mobilized the entire hotel to prepare for his arrival and even kicked out a duke who hadn't paid rent in half a year, giving him the suite instead. However, in a twist of events, the hotel mistook a poor-looking man for the millionaire they were expecting to receive and treated him with the utmost kindness and care. It wasn't until the actual millionaire arrived and revealed his identity that the hotel immediately revoked all the special treatment they had given to the poor man and even accused him of fraud, trying to kick him out. Fortunately, the millionaire decided to keep him and let him stay with him, adding a companion to his life. Soon after, a shower of gifts came from the hotel and a tailor shop, and the image of the millionaire was finally solidified. Later, the millionaire arrived at the US Embassy. He remembered telling the receptionist at the embassy entrance about his unfortunate situation before, but the receptionist didn't care and didn't offer any help. Now, it was the ambassador himself who was welcoming him and offering him top-quality cigars. The ambassador gave him £500 unconditionally and introduced him to the local upper class. The millionaire truly entered the upper class with this cash, and everyone was eager to make friends with him, including a beautiful girl who asked him to support her charity event. The two quickly hit it off, and the millionaire attended the charity event he was invited to. Everyone was bidding on a vase, and it eventually reached £4,000. At that moment, a little girl waved at the millionaire, who was touched and waved back. The host saw this and thought the millionaire was bidding £5,000, so she shouted out and the whole venue clapped, and no one dared to bid higher. The millionaire was embarrassed but didn't want to admit he made a mistake and bid again. So the extravagant vase ended up belonging to the millionaire, who had to put it on credit. The millionaire started having nightmares because his bedside was full of invitations for charity events, and everyone wanted him to donate money, but no one knew he was a fraud and a millionaire. Just when the millionaire was at a loss, someone approached him. It was a former colleague of his father, who came to ask for the millionaire's help. He had invested all of his assets in a project, but it was about to fail due to a lack of funds. He wanted to borrow the millionaire's power, not the £1,000,000, but his influence. It turned out that the millionaire's name was now very popular in the upper class, and as long as he invested in something, everyone would follow suit. Sure enough, when people heard that the mysterious wealthy king invested 20,000 shares in a project that was about to fail, the shares were instantly bought up, and the millionaire soon received news that he made a profit of £15,750. At this point, the millionaire wasn't too happy because he was in a relationship with a noble lady and told her about his impoverished background and fortunate encounter. However, she thought he was testing her, trying to see if she loved his money or him. She became angry and left. Soon after, the millionaire encountered another problem when a duke who was unhappy with him tried to set him up by having a cleaning lady hide his £1,000,000 in the hotel. The duke then spread false news everywhere, saying the millionaire didn't have any £1,000,000. The news spread quickly and people started asking the millionaire to show them the cash. At this point, the millionaire really couldn't find the cash. The bad news traveled far and wide, and the upper class all regarded him as a fraud. The hotel wanted him to check out immediately. To make matters worse, everyone started selling the shares the millionaire invested in, and the project became worthless again. The millionaire was finished. When he came to the hotel lobby, countless victims who claimed to have been cheated by him appeared and all wanted to cause him trouble. Everyone wanted to see his £1,000,000, but he couldn't produce it, so they became angry and started yelling at him, and some even started hitting him. At this point, the duke who set up the millionaire felt that things had gone too far and quickly returned the £1,000,000 to him. The millionaire held up the cash for everyone to see, and they immediately started praising him and wishing him well. In a few seconds, they all left again. Where were they going? To drill a hole? No, they rushed back to the stock exchange to buy shares again. The tailor returned all the clothes he had taken, and the hotel opened the room for him again. After witnessing all this, the noble lady realized that the millionaire didn't cheat her and that he was indeed a poor man who became nobody after losing £1,000,000. She returned to his side. It's been a month since the ending. The millionaire returned the £1,000,000 to two super rich people and won. Now he is a small millionaire with £20,000 and he has a beautiful woman with him. Money is a good thing. It can bring respect, friends, and status. Most importantly, it can bring happiness to oneself. The noble lady tells us that money is not omnipotent. It can't generate her love for the millionaire. This is the only warmth in this satirical story. Is this warmth a fairy tale? What do you think? Subscribe and see you next time.